took me 20 years to learn this about sugar. So if you just give me 10 minutes, I'm gonna explain how you can master your sweet tooth and stop the cravings, because I used to have cravings 24/7. I was so addicted to sugar, to snacking, because all my life I started my day eating cereal first thing in the morning. And after school, I always want that piece of chocolate, and during the night I was gaming all night long, so I always had a bunch of cookies next to me, some soda to go through the night, and when I watch a movie, some Netflix, I always had that snacks that just feels good. It was like my comfort food, because whenever I was stressed, I would rely on food. And that led to a lot of binge eating, especially when I was in the Navy. The stress was crazy high, so I would rely on food every single day. And when you are in this process of addiction to sugar, your brain is constantly thinking about it, like 24/7. Even when you eat a lot, you can't stop. And that's why I'm making this video, because I'm gonna help you master your cravings. And if you stick to the end, I'm gonna give you the sugar craving guide that will help you stop all this, because it's all in your brain and it's not your fault. It's actually biology. When you understand how sugar works, you can make it stop, because now you are in control. So first you need to understand that you have like a reward system. Your dopamine is a chemical in your brain that says it feels good. It's when you are seeking something, and when you get it, you have this hit of dopamine and it feels amazing. So whenever you are thinking of chocolate, the moment that you reach it, it's like a reward and it feels great. So that's why I was relying on food, on sugar, when I was anxious, when I was stressed, because it gives you that comfort. But the problem is, you receive this hit of dopamine, and 1 hour or 2 hours later, you're gonna crave it again. Because basically, when you snack, your insulin goes up, your blood sugar will go up, and when it comes down again to the normal level, it takes like 1 to 2 hours to go down. Your pancreas has to release the insulin to put the number down, and you're gonna have a crash in your energy, and you're gonna crave it again. So no matter how much you eat, you already know this, when you eat a bunch of sugar, you can eat a whole tablet of chocolate, you still want more. You say that I'm just gonna eat this piece, a little piece of chocolate, but you have one and you want another one. It's almost impossible to stop that. You say that you just gonna grab one cookie, one single cookie, and as fast as you know, you're already having 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost impossible to break this addiction, because it messes up with your brain and with your dopamine. So how can you actually stop this? First, you need to understand your craving cycle. What triggers you to reach that sugar? And can be a lot of different things. For me, when I was in the Navy, every time I was stressed, or I had a text, or I had something important, or something that went wrong, wasn't as good as I wanted, I would rely on food. But you can have different triggers. For example, if you have a bad night of sleep, you won't have the same discipline. If you are more stressed, if you are more anxious at your work, if your boss says something that you didn't like, it can be related to a lot of things. So first you need to understand what triggers that craving and write it down, so you can change your behavior when that happens. For example, imagine that your boss yells at you and usually you get food. Now you know the urge when it happens, so every time your boss yells at you, instead of using sugar, you call your best friend or you go for a walk. You need to find a mechanism that works for you, because you probably already noticed this, but you have this massive craving that you really want to get sugar as fast as possible. But if you don't do anything about it, the craving will go away in like 10 minutes. I promise you. You need to try this for yourself. Now imagine that because of this video I'm talking about a lot of chocolate. Now you really want a piece of chocolate. You have this craving right now, you are excited, your dopamine is going up, right? Because it almost feels that your brain, now I'm gonna have some chocolate, it feels fucking good. So if you don't have it for 10-15 minutes, the crave will literally go away. The problem is it won't go away for long. So it will go away for another 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends. But when the craving is on you again, you think, okay, I'm craving this because I'm triggering something, I'm more stressed now, whatever it is, but after 10-15 minutes, it will go away. It's the same with smoking. So you just need to build a discipline to face your trigger. And that leads to our second step, limit trigger foods. You probably at home have your favorite snacks, your favorite chocolates, your favorite cookies, everything that you love is at your home to reward it in some special occasion. But remember, when you are stressed, you're gonna reach it. So you need to get it off sight. Try to eliminate every trigger food that you have at home. Try to make it almost impossible to get that food, because imagine that you are home and you know that you have your cookies, you just need to go to the kitchen and grab them. But if you have to go to the supermarket, you have this barrier, so it's way more difficult, and that will eliminate the craving. So make sure to get it out of sight and make it almost impossible to reach these foods. Imagine you have a McDonald's close nearby, but you don't have car. You're not gonna go for a walk just to go to the McDonald's. But if you have your phone, just call the Uber and you get the food at home. So eliminate that app. You need to find these mechanisms to make it easier for you to stay disciplined. And that leads us to our third step, reward yourself differently. Because you don't want to quit everything you love. You want to have something that you really like in these moments to make the change. Because if you quit everything, it's not sustainable long term, and whenever you have like this binge attack that usually happens during the night, you are gonna eat everything, eat the Uber, go to the supermarket, everything you can possibly do. So you need to set boundaries and find ways that make yourself disciplined. So for example, if you really like sugar like I do, I just have a huge bowl of fruit, and literally my sweet tooth is more than satisfied, because when you are craving something sweet, try fruit because it really helps. I know it's not the same, but your craving will go away. So you can find foods that you really like, but they are a bit more healthy. For example, dates for me, it's like a caramel. It tastes so good. It's literally sugar, but it's fruits, it's fructose, so it's different, and it tastes amazing. So instead of just having chocolate, I'm gonna go for the dates instead. So you need to find these foods that you really love. You need to make these plans with you in order to stay accountable. Let's say you are disciplined throughout the week, so you don't eat sugar, you are not snacking all day long, so you can enjoy your weekend. You can go out with friends on Friday. Whatever it is, make a plan with yourself and set boundaries. This way you can be disciplined and still eat the foods that you love. The problem is, never let to the point that you are so disciplined, so locked in, that you are not eating anything, and then something bad happens, you are really anxious, so you just eat a little bit of chocolate and you will eat 3 tablets in a row, because that happens with me a lot of times. So you need to make this sustainable for you and for your lifestyle. And then, if you want the cheat code for this to happen, to make yourself stopping all the cravings for good, because you will need this time to adapt, and was exactly what I did for myself. I started doing intermittent fasting, and that helped me with the control on the food, because I restrict the times that I eat, and now I'm more in control, and that helped me a lot. So if you want to do a dopamine and reward system reset, it's what I advise you to do. Just for 2 weeks, 2 weeks only, cut all the snacking, all the sugar that you have on your diet for 2 weeks straight, so you can reset your dopamine system and also reset your cravings, because after 2 weeks, the sugar in your brain, it's completely gone. And if you use intermittent fasting, if you don't eat the first hours of the day, that will help you. Your insulin will be lower, you will have less cravings, and you are now in control of the food that you eat. So when I started doing intermittent fast, was the food didn't control me anymore, I was in control. And that helped me build the discipline that I needed to make this all work. Now, I will have sugar because I want it, not because my brain is craving hard. I really need that sweet No, now I'm in control and I use it as to reward myself once in a while whenever I want, but I have a good relationship and healthy. So I know this might seem hard, but I promise if you don't start here, if you don't start with cutting, you always have the sugar in your brain and this won't work. So you really want to start this for just 2 weeks and you're gonna feel amazing. So you really need to try. You're gonna have more energy, your sleep will improve, your skin will improve, and you're gonna also lose weight. So you have a lot of benefits. The main one is that your cravings will be gone after 2 weeks. I promise, bro. I was triggered. I was having these cravings constantly on my mind for 20 years, all my life. But 2 or 3 weeks of discipline and they are gone because your brain is really fast to adapt and it's just gonna be out of your system. So if you do this, everything else will be easier. So let me know in the comments if you're gonna start being locked in and control your cravings. See you.